Every once in a while, there's that favorite obstacle that you can do at a little bit of a higher speed. There are some extra considerations if you want to run that at night. Lighting, that would be the key. Do you really need pod lights? Do they help? Modern lights are pretty good, but a little extra never hurt.
Oh, yeah. Woo!
My JL has the LED lighting package, and I decided I would start my lighting journey with pod lights on the cowls. I went with Diode Dynamics SS3 Pros, which are a 3-inch pod light, and also the KC pillar mount for the JL to give me a low profile mounting solution. I bought these lights with my own money, and I am not sponsored by anyone currently. Links in the description will be provided for everything that you see in this video. I also picked up the security hardware kit and the Diode Dynamics light duty hardware kit, which is a dual output kit with Deutsch DT connects and an integrated switch. It also came with a set of panel tools, which are pretty nice as well. I used heat shrink in order to shorten this and maintain the look of this harness, since I probably only needed about a third of the provided length. Since I plan on using my auxiliary switch wiring, which is by the battery under the hood, not going to need that switch. A few things that are nice to have are a test light, a heat gun for the heat shrink, and some good quality butt connectors. I don't like using wire taps. I generally throw them away, and they're no match for a good crimp connection. The harness is finished with heat shrink, which is really nice, so when I shorten this, I'm going to maintain the factory look of this harness since it gives it a nice finished look. These are the trim tools Diode Dynamics sent, which I didn't actually need, and the Klein stripper and flush cutters that were helpful in this install. I'd like to thank Marlena Viola for posting this image on the JL Jeep forums. I used it to locate and identify the auxiliary wires under the hood where I intercepted them. They're also found under the passenger side carpet and under the footwell. If you install these lights as intended, you'll have a full power setting and a backlight setting, although this will take two separate switches to run properly. I used auxiliary 1 for my main, and the backlight setting auxiliary 3. Auxiliary 4 floor I'm actually using currently for my rock lights. I figured out the length of the wiring I needed, and it was all going to be under the hood since I'm using the auxiliary switching connections that are in front of the battery on the right side, and I didn't require any drilling. I grounded to the factory grounding point and attached to the auxiliary switches just in front of the battery here on the right. I'll show you that in just a minute. I zip tied it to the wire channel behind the engine, making sure nothing was sagging or in a place where it was going to get too hot. And up here is where you intercept the aux switches. I'll show you that in a second. And there it is right there. This can be untaped and unwound, and you actually have enough to work with. Removing the cowl panels is super simple, and it allows you to run the wires to the pod location very, very easily. In this section, you can see that I opted for the removable pod light covers as well. So like I mentioned, these are the combo lights. So the top half is the driving light filter, and on the bottom side is the flood. This is kind of a compromise, but I think they worked really well. These are IP69K rated, which is waterproof and high pressure certified. Here's a little before and after, and I really am happy with the way these look. Another added bonus is that if you want to raise the hood and put it up against your windshield, like you should, because the hood support rod is a piece of junk, it'll still clear with this pod light mounting solution. Alright, let's go to the Pisgah National Forest Gear Lab and check these things out in action. Here's a little reminder not to pour your bacon grease into your fire. Hey, Bear. Hey, Bear. So as you can see, the backlight function matches the marker lights of the Jeep pretty well. The pre-runner lights I have are Oracle lights. They're a little bit more on the red side of orange. I do like the backlight. I think it's pretty nice. The full power setting is a 2700 lumens, and this is an amber color, which is approximately 3000 Kelvin. If you've never had amber lights before, they will take a little bit of getting used to, but even though you can see the amber lights on the hood, which you'll see here in a moment, there really is not that much glare. The factory LED lights have a pretty good cutoff, and the amber takes off above that. It really is nice because it doesn't kill your night vision, and in rainy conditions, they still seem to have some pretty good clarity. Here you can see that amber reflection on the hood, but it's definitely not glaring and really distracting like a white light would be here. So I'm very happy with my choice. Alright, here's a little comparison of factory lights plus brights. Brights off, pod lights on with factory lights, brights added. Yeah, the brights don't do a whole lot, so I think the LEDs that it came with are pretty good lights, although you see how much more you can see with these. It's pretty impressive. When I first picked up pod lights or did the research, I wanted it all. I wanted distance, I wanted brightness, I wanted width, all that. So the combo seemed to be a little bit of a compromise, but I like the width, the spread, and the throw is actually really good. So I'm very happy with these. The clarity of the stock LEDs is really nice, but it's not until you throw on the pod lights that you really see what you're missing. And you know, the white light versus amber light argument is valid, although if you have a good set of white lights and a good set of amber pod lights, it blends them together in a way that you kind of get the best of both, in my opinion. The amber lighting may look like it reflects a bit on the hood, like I mentioned earlier, but this is really more camera angle, but from seating position, you don't notice it nearly as much. Lighting can get quite expensive quickly. I wanted bang for my buck, and I think I found it. I'm pretty sure I'm not going to be rocking a full light bar anytime soon because technology has really kind of taken the necessity away from things like that. Hey, they're cool, but I don't think I need them. If you'd like to pick some of these up, like I mentioned before, there will be links in the description. I think it's a worthy investment. You know, these amber lights work pretty well in the rain too. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you out there. Happy trails.